All right. Welcome, Leo, to your monthly reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's so good to see everybody today. If it's your first time here, a nice warm welcome. If you're a longtime viewer, it's good to see you again. And just a quick note on how we're going to organize everything today. I always like to begin with channeled messages, which I'll talk about here in just a few minutes. And then we'll get into the Celtic Cross. And there's a lot more that will come through as well. But the whole format is right here. If it is your first time, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe. Believe it or not, it helps a lot. And since I've started going live again with all of my videos, YouTube doesn't rank it as high. So it's really important to go through afterwards and like, share, subscribe, comment. It all helps with engagement. And of course, watch. So thank you everybody for showing up today. You can also take a look at my social media platforms. It's pretty much just my name everywhere, Nicholas Ashbaugh. No changes to that. And if there's any exceptions, you can go to my website to see them. One thing to note is that I don't use private messages and I don't give private readings. That question comes up a lot in the comments. I haven't for about 1.5 years. And so if anyone's offering that, you know it's not me, okay? I have no plans to resume that anyway because I want to focus on content here on YouTube. I can do more with you on YouTube than if I'm doing the private readings. SuperChats, SuperStickers are a great way to show support. Same thing with memberships. I've started to do some really cool things with memberships and there'll be more coming in the year ahead. So if you'd like to help out there, that helps as well. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about channeled messages now. So the channeled messages for me come through basically intuitively through dreams and also through meditation. And today as I was meditating, the rabbit was the main image that kept coming through, which represents abundance, speed, agility. Really, there's nothing bad with that particular totem. So let's dig into how this is going to help you. Again, if you missed the first part, you can use this for sun, rising, moon, Venus, any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. We'll dig a little deeper into sun, rising, and moon later. But with that being said, let's go ahead now and bring up the presentation so we can talk about the totem. Okay. How's everybody doing, by the way? Can you believe we're already looking at next year's sort of forecasts? I can't believe it myself. It seems like this has been going so quickly this year. In some ways, it's a good thing. In other ways, it's sort of like, where is time going? All right, here we go. So the rabbit. We're all familiar with it. It's a common animal that we see in our gardens. Sometimes it bothers us because it eats things that it shouldn't, but it's fuzzy, it's nice, and it has a lot of cool elements that I think will help you in this month ahead. First and foremost, it can leap, and it represents the fool. So speed and agility are actually the first line of defense for a rabbit. That's why they have the big hind legs. That's why they have great ears. That's why they can move quickly. They can move almost as fast as a car or a bike. They're 25 to 45 miles per hour, faster than most humans. The ability for you over the next month to month and a half is also to both move and recover quickly. So one thing that I like about this particular animal totem is it reminds us if you can't get it right the first time, keep trying. In fact, there's so many different litters that a rabbit has over the course of the year. It's like they just through mass production, they're like, eventually we'll have enough. And a lot of that is because they get hunted. So power in numbers, and they want to make sure that they're ensuring the survival of the species. But for you, this represents this sort of prolific period. And that's actually a great word for it. You can be more prolific. Sometimes quantity does matter because it gives you a nice sort of universe of options to look at. So keep on moving forward, keep on trying. It may not work the first time. Dust yourself off like that old Aaliyah song and keep trying, okay? And let's see what is the next piece here. Oh yeah, it's important sometimes that we pay attention to who's first. We're not talking about sort of like who gets first prize, but it is sometimes important to be the first person in the room to raise your hand and speak up. It may be the most important for you to be the first one to take action on something, because as people look back at your track record, your history, these sort of things are going to matter, particularly when it comes to advancement. So we want to pay special attention there. I want to say hi to everybody, Apollo, since you're kind of moving around in the background. Apollo's sending some love to all of us and getting comfortable here. All right, so let's move on to the next card, environmental awareness. Rabbits have this amazing ability to see a lot. Also, we'll talk more about their ears in a moment, but because of the positioning of the eyes, they can almost see 365 degrees. Not complete, but pretty darn close. So they can see here, here, and here, which is awesome. They're encouraging us not to be like the character in the Four of Cups, to look at what's in front of us, to look what's going on in the environment around us. Because I could have featured a lot of other cards here. When you have that awareness, you can pick up on things like Seven of Swords, or people, doing things they shouldn't. Three of Cups reversed, or people gossiping. All kinds of stuff could be going on. An Ace of Pentacles, there could be an opportunity landing in your lap. So the more environmentally aware you are, the more you can both heal and deal with things that need to be dealt with, and you can also bring in the things that you really want to see development with, okay? Something could be happening right under your nose, or right behind your back. So it's just about tuning in, okay? You are the one that makes it happen. Today, we actually pulled the Queen of Pentacles, and she's one of my favorite. I really love most of the the Queen cards, but Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles are two of the most powerful ones, because Queen of Wands makes something out of nothing. Queen of Pentacles, she has the ability to take something, and it's almost like a spinning straw into gold. She can really make things work in an amazing way. So we actually see the bunny rabbit in the lower corner. It might be too small to see in this card, but there's a little rabbit in the corner of this card, and it basically reminds you that you have to feed an idea to see it grow, that there's going to be rapid movement. So the speed with which you move, which we just talked about, is going to be important. You don't want to fall asleep and have someone else work on that. But if you are aware, and if you are active, and these aren't a lot of things to be asking, then you can actually get the abundance that this card represents. So I love it. And if you want to hear more about it, listen to the one card pull from today. But basically, you can use this energy for yourself or for others. It is one of the most maternal cards in the minor arcana, and one of the most powerful ones next to maybe the Empress, because of that ability to be in charge, to develop, to nurture, to inspire. It's definitely divine feminine at its best. So we can all access that energy if we try and if we allow ourselves to do so. Okay? But that feeding the dream piece is important, very important, because if you just have an idea or an epiphany but you don't follow through on it, then it's just going to sit there. Remember to listen. So another fun fact, rabbits can move their ears about 180 degrees and kind of pinpoint, almost like satellites, where the source of a sound is. It's another one of their defense mechanisms, and it keeps them alive. Listening is going to be it's always the most important part, I would say, but especially as you're looking at the next month and a half when it comes to communication. And when you look at any sort of critical communication, negotiations, it's absolutely important. Not just listening to the words, but also paying attention to the body language, listening to the tone of voice, listening to the whispers and all that other stuff. So that's why I chose the Page, because the Page of Swords always looks over his shoulder first, or her shoulder, and they're trying to figure out, am I missing something? Did I hear this correctly? They think before they leap, and I like that, and that's going to be important. So thinking, listening, validating what you heard was correct, asking if someone else heard you, this will save you in the long run. And then we were talking about this a little bit at the beginning, but rapid cycles of growth or iteration, rapid iteration, I could have just said here. So the rabbits reproduce quickly and often. So you have this ability not to just be a perfectionist, let's put it that way, to allow things to just keep fluidly flowing through you. You can lean on others to be the perfectionists, and don't let yourself get stuck in that process of fixating on one thing or trying to perfect one thing. And sometimes I'm guilty of that too, but in this period of time for you, for your sign in particular, Leo, it's important to keep the movement happening. Also, don't give up. I chose a different card here to represent that. We have the sort of grumpy but very effective Nine of Wands here. That person's like, you're not getting past here, and I'm not giving up. I'm going to push until I get to the finish line because I paid my dues. And the dues are represented by that bandage, and sometimes you'll see them with like a sling around their arm or whatever. They've been through the battle, and they have to sometimes remind themselves of the work and how much, sort of difficulty they've been through, so you don't give up. And so they don't give up. So avoid stagnation, keep moving forward, and that's going to be the keys to success as we look at the time of the next 6 to 8 weeks ahead. So quick review, and then we'll get into the Celtic Cross. So we have the lovely rabbit today coming through to remind you it's time to take a leap of faith. that you can actually move and recover quickly, that sometimes it matters who moves and speaks up and takes action first, that you need to be aware of what's going on around you. There's an opportunity. There could be potential pitfalls or danger as well. You just want to be keeping your eyes and your ears open. Those are the two most visible pieces of the rabbit next to their teeth. Fun fact, I think the teeth keep growing. I just didn't bring that into this research for today. You are the source of things. There's a lyric from an old Mariah Carey song, you're going to make it happen, right? It's all about you. But so remember that requires your investment of time and energy. It requires feeding and believing in the dream and spending a little bit of nurturing on yourself, time and energy to nurture yourself, not everyone else. Listen to what's going on. Look and listen. And then keep moving forward. Keep trying. You didn't come this far to give up. And you have a lot more in store for everybody else. So surprise them and show them what's possible. All right, so we're going to begin now with the Celtic Cross. I always allow this portion to take whatever shape it needs to. Then we'll go a little deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. I forgot to mention this at the beginning of yesterday's reading, so I'll say it today. I'm doing something special with all the January readings. Right before we get to the meditation, so after sun, rising, and moon, we will take a look at the 4 quarters of the new year to give you some insights on how that will shape up. And then if you want a deeper dive, like all 12 months, more in a general sort of sense, you can tune into my New Year's Eve special, okay? Times and dates will all be coming soon. I'm going to be moving next week on Tuesday, no longer to an Airbnb. This will be to an apartment, so or Monday rather. So there will be no Monday reading, but I'll figure out which day I'll kind of like catch up with the next reading. I think Virgo's next, so keep an eye on the schedule. That's why things have been a little sporadic because I've been getting ready for the move. Even this morning I had some stuff to do, so thanks for your patience. Enough talking. Let's get started, folks. All right, so we're going to take a look now at the Celtic Cross for the next 6 to 8 weeks and see what's coming through. It's good to see you all, by the way. Okay, we actually have a volunteer for that, and the first card also wanted to jump off. Wonderful. Your first 2 cards are amazing, I have to say. We've got the Wheel of Fortune and the 6 of Swords. Movement when it comes to career, when it comes to finance, when it comes to just general life. I love it. A little bit of recovery that you're getting through right now. Lots of expansion, Leo. Look at that World card in the environment. Someone's asking, it's for Leo. It's in the title. So you can look at sign-by-sign specific readings in each of the, there's a playlist on my main channel page. All the December ones are up. We're reading for January today if you joined late. Good to have you. Stick around. Even if it's not your sign, there may be messages for you. So just stay here for a little bit and see if you like what you see. It's a good month ahead. It looks like, I'm still getting all the cards here, but it looks like the pain is in the past. While I'm getting all the cards set up, if you are new to me, I have daily readings for all general readings, so those are on the main page. Then I do a weekly collective as well, and then I do these sign-specific ones. All of them are neatly organized in playlists on my main channel page, so you can check them out there after this reading. I also do some specials. Like I said, we're going to do a New Year's Eve and a New Year's Day special this year since they're Saturday and Sunday. And then I'm going to try to do more of the lunar events next year and solar events, so we'll see how that works. Okay, we got it all set up. Let's get started, folks. We'll begin with your catalyst card first. Help appears in various ways. Yeah, this is a really cool message because sometimes we fixate on a person, place, or thing showing up in a particular way. The universe often has something bigger in store for us, right? So, it could be in the form of a partnership. Sometimes you think that the love of your life is going to have a certain job, live in a certain place, do a certain thing. And the universe is like, you know what? I have something else that I'd like you to try. So be open to the alternatives is what this card basically has to say. And I'm going to read it just closer up. So there's much support for you. Sometimes you may get adrift, so you forget to look for the support systems that are with you continuously. And actually, if we just take a look at the camera here, we can see the Ten of Pentacles in the crowning position, which nicely aligns that the School of Fish is actually looking at the family here. And Ten of Pentacles can be friends, family, co-workers. It's a lot of resources, basically. So there's definitely a nice synchronicity and alignment between those messages. Okay, so let's continue going to the center of the spread, and we'll periodically go back here. And another way that we could say this is don't be afraid to ask for help. You're not alone. You just may be putting a lot of energy into others, because we talked about the Queen of Pentacles. We actually have the Knight of Pentacles here. So there's a lot of outward sort of facing support, energy, and work. So this is saying go inward. All right, let's start with your centermost card, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Some of you are ready to change course. The Wheel of Fortune is invariably a very positive card, even when it shows up in the reverse state. It can simply indicate a desire to embark on something different, unexpected, something that is fulfilling and new for you. What I like about this illustration is we see the person holding the wheel. You are the one that ultimately changes things. You are just as strong as whatever opportunity comes in front of you, because you have the free will, you have the action in order to kind of like make that happen. Without the free will, without you taking action, nothing's going to happen. The wheel's going to sit there. The vehicle's going to sit there. So this is saying, are you ready? Are you ready to take the wheel? It can represent, you see the 4 seasons? It can represent 1 year. Even though it's a 10, the Wheel of Fortune represents a seasonal or cyclical change. Sometimes that takes up to 1 year to happen. So we see winter, spring, summer, fall, or we see like rain and snow and the desert and all of that. So you're going to have to move through some things first. And how quickly you move through it also kind of depends on how full in you're going to go, how all in you're going to go into something. So I would say for you, this could be as short as maybe 3 months. We could take that 10 and look at it as like 10 weeks. So 9 weeks is approximately 3 months. So it could be 1/4 of the year, or it could be 1 year. And it really depends on dedication. This is a time to put a little bit more focus on finances. Some of you may have been overspending, or you may be feeling like you need a little more to get to the next big thing, whether that's purchasing a house, taking a trip, saving up for your children's college, whatever it is. It feels like at the center of your spread, career, development, and money are taking a center stage. Not so much career, or not so much love, rather. It's all the other sort of parts of your life. So developmental energy, very, very big in this spread. Let's look at what was crossing it. So we have the 6 of Swords crossing this card, which can show a desire, a need, or a benefit in taking a trip, traveling, moving, shifting resources around as well. The interesting thing on this one, again, is about the environmental awareness. Do you see the little serpent in the water behind this person? Take a look at what's right around you. That could represent a danger or an opportunity. It could also represent someone that wants to come with you. So again, this message here that help appears in various forms. We actually see one of those forms back there. Someone's got your back. You could actually, because we don't have to always stereotype or put it in a sort of cast a snake as a bad character. To me, it's basically typecast is the word I was looking for. To me, a snake represents power, flexibility, and the ability to move pretty quickly. So you have someone in your life that has these sort of capacities. They just may not be willing or ready to let you know that they're interested. But I see someone around you or something around you. You want to pay attention to that. But the 6 of Swords is forward momentum, forward movement. We like it. And for many of you, that could represent you're going to sell your house. You're going to move for work. You're going to move for love. But it's moving for something that you value. And there is a trade-off because the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse. You give something, you get something. All right? Let's go ahead and look at the deep past, the karmic lesson, the energy that's coming through for you. We have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So when I look at you, and this is representing you, this is saying, I need this. This is what you would be saying to someone else. You're willing to go for something that you care about. And you're willing to tell someone like, in order for me to do this, this is what's required. So at the negotiation table, this could be you saying, I'll take this job, but you have to cover the moving expenses. Or I'll take this job, but I need this title or this pay, and that's my best and final. If you're trying to buy something, you'll say, I can't accept a penny over this because this is my budget. If you're trying to sell something, you'll say, again, this is best and final, and you're getting a good deal. Don't be afraid to stand your ground and to state what it is that is necessary for you to get a good end of this deal or this negotiation. This is also part of learning. So you could be deciding to take resources and invest them in yourself, literally taking that pentacle and bringing it within. So what this is going to require, because knights are normally forward movement, is exactly what we see here. He's parking his vehicle for a second. He's stopping and he's saying, I need to pause and I need to see where I stand, what I need, where I'm at. I need to look at the map, basically. And nowadays it would be the GPS. How am I tracking? So take a moment. This is a perfect time. You're watching me live before the new year. We're looking at the energy of January. We're not yet on the retrograde. It's going to happen at the end of the month. So this week in particular, when this reading is occurring, you can sit down and think, I accomplished this. This still didn't get done. I didn't even get this idea ready until now, but I want that too. So you're going to cobble together the must-haves, the nice-to-haves, and then like the pie in the sky stuff, and get this ready so that you can hit the ground running in 2023. And if you're missing a piece of the pie, let's say you want to go up a level in work, you want to be able to move or travel, but you need to save the money first, then you can start to plan, how long do I have to work here? Do I need a second job? Can I cut my spending somewhere? Because we're looking at money and choices at the center. So it is about adjusting resources and making sure that you're getting something back. If you're working and working and working, but it's not paying off, that's the big lesson here with the Ten of Swords. So what we see also, by the way, a little bit of a lesson here, you're worth more than perhaps you've been receiving. And some of you are, it's not necessarily an ultimatum, it can be, but it could just simply be a conversation around, I'm worth this, I'm not getting this, someone else is willing to give me this, what are we going to do about this? You got two very different tens here. This is exhaustion and failure, this is success and support, and again it says help arrives or appears in various ways. So I'll give you a little, some of you like this, personal example, but I once was working in, it was a big company, like second or third big job that I had. I had a really off-center boss. That's the best way to say it. And just really difficult to work with. And this person had brought on someone who had the same title as me. I appreciated the help. There was a little bit of competition there. But one day I just was really stressed out. And I confided in this person. And they said, I'm so glad you did that. I know of a job opening for you, but I didn't want to give it to you because I didn't want you to think I was trying to get rid of you. But this place sucks. I'm looking for work too. And so it was the place that they used to work. They gave me a lead. I got a job. It was great. I was so happy that I spoke up and help was there. I just had to talk to someone that was right by me, literally my equal, and say, is it just me or is this environment a little nuts? And she was like, yeah, it's really nuts. And and she was so happy. And then we were friends and it broke the ice. So sometimes you have to put yourself out there. You never know. Help could be right there. And I had a lot of resources around me when I was willing to open up and say, I'm stressed out. This isn't ideal. This isn't what I thought I was going to get into, that came out and supported me. And I made a move within a week. So to the new job, it was great. So don't be afraid to speak up. Especially if you see someone and you think, what have I got to lose? And in that situation, I didn't have anything to lose. I only had something to gain. Let's look at the Ten of Swords. So this is the illusion, or it could be the recent past. This can be burning yourself out. It can be someone that's said or done something harmful, malicious, defamatory, etc. It can also just be that feeling and that fear that if you don't do something perfect, you're going to fail. This can just be fear of failure, by the way, the Ten of Swords. But the crowning card, and this is where your value and your strength is the other 10, the better 10 here, the 10 of Pentacles, which is when you reach out, when you look and see what people truly have to think, to say, and to offer, it's actually quite good. So for some of you, this is simply the inner saboteur and perfectionist getting in the way of your success. For some of you, this is putting up with something that's nonsense too long when something better awaits you on the horizon. Whatever this represents, this is the big thing that you want to turn the wheel, as we're looking at that center card, away from. This is an old way of thinking. You're prioritizing yourself. You're valuing yourself. You're moving if you need to, even if it's putting you in a place of discomfort, it's temporary. And you're going to prioritize health and well-being. So for some of you, this could also be a health problem that popped up. It doesn't have to be solely because of work. Although all of these cards, the deep past, this sort of presenting issue, where your head's at, it's all around money. It's all around work. It's all around resources. It's all around public opinion. So all of that stuff needs to kind of come into a better balance so that your health is where it needs to be. If you have gone through something significant, look and see how the environment, because we talked about environmental awareness, but how the environment at home, at work, and elsewhere, maybe even where you're living, is impacting your sort of general physical and mental health, because it's not just the body, it's also emotions and mind. So when and where you need help there, get it. This can also be chronic fatigue or pain, in which case you'd want to get some help. I'm jumping ahead a little bit to the health portion of the reading, but that came through, so I wanted to talk about it while I was transitioning through it. Here's the good news, folks. We do see moving away from that. So this is moving away from that to this, being more sort of straightforward and accountable, and finding your sort of mojo and your power again. Everything here is about empowerment. They're all good. So I see you trending in the right direction, but I do see a little bit of movement and change and healing that's going to take place over the holidays. Because, by the way, we are looking at this on the precipice of New Year's, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and all the other holidays that I haven't mentioned. We want to avoid this. This can be a heated conversation at work or at a holiday party about something that can be avoided if you just go in the other direction. Pick and choose those battles wisely, folks, because we can't choose our families. Sometimes we can't choose our coworkers, and sometimes they say things that are insane. So if they do, we're going to move away from that. You're going to focus on something else, because this card is a no-win, but this is you winning in a no-win situation by simply deciding, is it worth it? Is it worth my energy? And usually it's not when you have a Five of Swords character. So let's focus on this first, and then we'll go into the Five of Swords. Here's what the new year is opening up to you, if you keep your mind open towards that. We have the Ten of Pentacles, and there's all these sort of opportunities landing in your lap, these stars that are coming down, they want to land in your lap. I'm looking at loyalty. I think that's going to play a really big part, loyalty and experience, and then also who's been there in the long run. The guy almost reminds me of Santa Claus because of his beard and the coloring of his shirt. But what I was going to say here is it's really important for you to take a look around you at who's been there consistently, who's there right now, and especially who's there when things get tricky. When this Ten of Swords, perceived failure or criticism or fallout, whatever it can represent, sometimes in your darkest hour comes your best friend and your brightest moment. I always like to remind folks also with the Ten of Swords, this card does a nice job of it, but we see a new day dawning. This is over. It's kind of grotesque and gruesome, but we sometimes need that wake-up call in the tarot cards. But then we see the beautiful day breaking. So the best is yet to come. The most challenging aspect seems to have already passed, and you really want to keep your eyes fixed on the horizon, not so much on what didn't go the way you wanted it, because there's only so much you can do about that at the end of the day. Now let's look at this potential trickster that's coming through, or tricky energy. So we have the Five of Swords reversed, but let's look at it upright. You can see the people in the background just sort of really having a day. We see this person not necessarily taking much accountability or caring or feeling much of what they're going through. So what the Five of Swords feels like when you're talking to someone is they're maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead of what you're saying. They're not listening. They're not present. So what'll be happening is they're already concocting their next piece of conversation. They're not hearing you. They're not present. And then they talk at you. So the listening piece isn't happening. So that's one Five of Swords. The other one is they hear, but they don't believe, and they don't care, and they don't want to hear what you're saying. So when it's a criticism or feedback, in their head, they're like, this person's wrong, before they've listened. So they judge. It's prejudgment, preconceived notions. It can also be someone who is really good at winning an argument. And in that case, we can always meet someone that a lot of times we see this in public figures like politicians. They can take something and move it in a way that it's like, that's not what I said, but they repeat it enough and they say it enough that it starts to stick out there. So you want to be very prepared for someone like that and find a way to not fall into their typical techniques and traps. And so in that case, you'd want to restate, no, that's what you said. That's not what I said. Or you're changing the topic. This is the topic. You'll have to do a lot of redirection and do so neutrally. Keep holding your ground. Don't overreact. And then turn the tables on them if you want to. It's tricky. That's something where it's going to require debate. So the big thing for you is, are you ready to do the work necessary to debate someone that's good at debate? Is it worth it? Will you get something out of this, or is it just going to be exhausting? And then I think the most important thing for you is to remain honest, accountable, and to sort of set that bar high so other people know what's expected. That's the best way to deal with the Five of Swords. Sometimes you walk away. Sometimes you just call a spade and say, this, you're not listening. Come back to me when you're ready to discuss this. But right now, I can tell we're not getting anywhere. Or get everything organized and be ready to go for it. Sometimes a fight is worth a fight, but few and far between. Five of Swords is usually saying go another direction, because these people in the background, they tried it and they're like, I wish I hadn't. So if it's just a short-term gain, this person usually gets themselves in trouble in the long run, because they end up, by not listening, they trip, they fall, they do something, they trip on their own words in the long run, or their actions catch up with them. There's only so long that the Five and the Seven of Swords get away with things. Typically, it comes out in the wash. So let karma deal with them. You deal with you is my best piece of advice for that, because you got too many good things waiting and coming your way. This is a temporary stop. This is near future. This is your potential. This is where you're headed. This is a roadblock that you're not going to fall into. Okay? Instead, we have two cards of investment. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse is speaking up, taking action to help yourself. And then the Eight of Pentacles is putting your money where your mouth is and doing the work. And so for many of you, you might decide to build something like we see here. The card is reversed, but I just want to look at it upright. You might decide to go to school, edit, especially reverse. This is about changing, editing, modifying, revisiting. This is also saying, I never got to finish what I started. Eight of Cups and Eight of Pentacles can work together, but it's basically, maybe there's a high school, college degree or project where it's been sitting there and it's dusty and you're like, I finally want to do this. I'm finally ready to finish what I started, because now I see how it's valuable. Now I understand what and why I should be focusing on this. And for those of you that happen to be writers or composers or artists, this is a great card for that as well, because you're putting energy into your craft. If you are something like an engineer, or if you invent things, this can also be about recording that and getting it ready for a patent, a copyright, or some sort of a presentation. Generally speaking, I really like the Eight of Pentacles because it shows a return on investment. And there's not a lot of cards that show that, but this does. But it does require the work. And that's what we see with this diligent sort of artisan, we'll call him, right? Okay. So you're coming through as skilled, talented, and hardworking. That's basically what this card represents. What does this do for you? Well, it opens doors. We have the World card here in the environment. So we love this. Actually, I mean, the World and the Wheel of Fortune both have the energy of 4 seasons or a year. So you could also be on a 1 to 2 year journey of growth and change and development. These two cards, the Six of Swords and the World, are also about outreach. So the first one is about possibly like sending something out into the world. We see this person on the ship. So this can represent a fax, an email, a text, a letter, a phone call, a message in a bottle. You're sending it out and saying, I'm ready. It can also be deciding to deliver products or services at a sort of a larger footprint, going to a different country, state, or province. This is even bigger than that. This is saying, think of the entire planet. Think of reaching everyone and everything. And we see the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail. But there's this ability for a new cycle to be born from this, and actually something to be even bigger than you anticipated it could be. So the question then is, are you agile and open and ready enough to really embrace that expansive energy when it happens? This is big in a good way. So the Tower is a big event. When we lose something, we have to react quickly. We have to make really big changes when we're basically shaking the foundations. This one is more about, hey, you're getting positive traction, positive attention. Things are going further, farther, faster than expected. We also see a candle that's burning at both ends. You want to be mindful of how much time and energy you're putting in everything, but if you pace yourself and if you're aware, good expansive energy. This is in the environment, so around you, there's something that wants to be tapped into. We have all of the different elements in this card, kind of like the Magician. This is a slightly different illustration for that, but we see the Ace of Pentacles, of Wands, of Swords, and of Cups in this one as well. So it's saying, take all those things that you built upon. It reminds me of the Supreme card in the Afro Goddess deck. Take all of those elements that you built upon, and now you can repackage, you can reimagine. And so the only thing that's going to hold you back right now is if you limit yourself, or if you're in a place where they try to kind of, they try to put you in a box or try to categorize or catalog you in a certain way that doesn't feel right. So look for places where that's not happening. Publishing, broadcasting, podcasting, developing, moving, all of those things. Something's not meant to stand still. You're not meant to stand still. And that's the message for that. Could be a new home as well. We have the Ace of Wands in reverse. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. Don't overthink. You've got a good idea. You have something that you are starting to develop or starting to dream about. Go for it. An Ace of Wands is a very good idea. A reversal of this can represent overthinking and going in a rabbit hole. It can be being overly critical. It can also be a vitality card representing fatigue. And I mentioned what's going on around you could be exhausting. Look at those two-sided candles. They're going to burn the wick and the wax faster. So you have to take care of yourself and get enough sleep. Pace yourself. You can't fake it. So there could be an offer on the table for love, for work, or some other opportunity. And like the Bonnie Raitt song, I Can't Make You Love Me If You Don't, you can't make yourself feel something or make someone else feel something if they don't. And this can represent passion, but not mutual passion. And again, we can abstract that to be applied to any aspect of your life. You may feel it, but they don't. They may feel it, but you don't. If it doesn't match, wait until you have two people at the same time that feel the mutual attraction, and things will take off from there naturally. Okay? All right. Let me see if there's anything else. There may be an unexpected offer that's placed on your table as well. You got a lot going on in your life. Like I said, potentially a new job, maybe a new home, maybe a lot of movement when it comes to just, your own personal growth. And this is the last thing that you expected, but someone says, hey, have you considered this? Or would you like to do this? And you have to really think on that for a second. I love that we're ending with the King of Swords, one of the most powerful cards when it comes to communication and action. And also the ability also to attract people. What is this? Looks like an eagle or a falcon or something. But basically, you have the ability to have your message spread, and also you might get some good news this month. This can represent incoming good news. What I like about the King of Swords is when he appears and when he speaks, people listen. You don't have to say a lot, but what you say sticks, resonates, matters. Same thing with actions. In this case, it's not about how often, how much, it's how impactful and how much you believe in it. Those are the most important pieces. So really put 100% in your words and actions this month, because they do matter, okay? Ending on the King of Swords shows me good forward momentum, good movement. And when we look at your kind of most powerful cards here in this period of time, where your headspace is, the crowning position, lots of value. Center of the spread, a change of heart, a change of mind. Movement and expansive cards when we're looking at the Six of Swords in the world. a lot of ability to absorb and develop. This is developing and editing. This is developing as well. And then someone looking at that and saying, I like it. I like where you're headed. A good conversation evolving from all of this. Okay? Now let's expand this forecast. We're going to go a little bit deeper, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. The way that I read it is I don't try to see any of those first. I focus on them later. That way, if something generally wants to come up for you, as we're looking at everything, it really is about a change in fortune, a change in direction, a change in development. So I wouldn't want to look for love if I'm trying to focus on that first. All right, so health, wealth, love, and destiny is what we're going to be looking at. Health, wealth, love, and destiny. As I take a look at health, a reminder that I'm a tarot reader, I'm an intuitive, so I'm going to look at energy opportunities that could provide healthy opportunities. But if there's something going on in your mind, in your body, in your environment, work with the appropriate professional for that. Energetically, I may pick up on them here, but you want to work with an expert. So we have an embrace card here, and it almost reminds me of the King of Pentacles, because if I have to look at the King of Earth, that's what it is. We see the heart at the center of this, and we also see a lot of energy coming out from his heart and his solar plexus. So let's read it as the King of Pentacles, and let's look at that and apply it to your life. So the King of Pentacles for you would we could also see this, I think this is connected. This is a different version of the tarot. So it's 21, it's also the world. But we could kind of see the King of Pentacles behind the world card on this particular deck. So as we look at the world and a King of Pentacles behind the world and his heart and his solar plexus ablaze, what I would say is your home is going to be the central focus for your success. Do you feel at home where you live and where you work? Do you feel at home in your relationships? The sense of feeling comfortable and safe, just like this little guy on the couch behind me, it makes all the difference. If you're not comfortable, if you're not cozy, if you're not at home, that's the area of your life that you need to make a change in. It's not just the physicality of the house. It's, are you comfortable in your skin, in your relationship? Do you feel like you can speak and be yourself at work? Do your friends judge your choices? Where are you feeling that sort of disconnect? That's the focus. That's where you can be healthier. Okay? And the King of Pentacles is the basically king of their own domain wherever they are. And it doesn't, home is where the heart is. And that's why we see the heart at the center of this card as well. So if you love yourself, if you love who you are, if you love where you are, then people will naturally either connect with that or fall away. That's the message there. It's kind of like way out there, but I hope it makes sense. Now let's bring it into easily understandable things. The first and most important thing is if there's any chronic pain or fatigue, that should be your central focus. 10 of Swords can represent back pain in particular, but any sort of chronic issue that's popping up. It could be an environmental thing where movement away from someone or something is going to benefit you. So it's not just the body, it's the body's reaction to an environment, which is something that we've been talking about a few times here. Travel seems to be something that some of you desire. And I think good things could come of that if you're ready, if you have the abundance and the resources. A move or a change could do you good, to quote the old Sheryl Crow song. A change could do you good. So yes, definitely a move would be good for many of you. What I see also for some of you is finding your own family. This is kind of veering into the category of love and relationships, but the pain is coming through in this one. So if your family hasn't supported you, if there are friends, siblings, or people around you that haven't been there for you, there's another group of people out there that seem to want to welcome you with open arms. So their loss, your gain, and this new sort of family's gain. So chosen family is kind of showing up here as well. Let's see what else is coming in here. I mean, I think the main thing for you is to keep moving, to move away from negative things. The stagnation in your life can also be like exercise, so making sure you're taking care of that. But generally speaking, I do see recovery in these outer cards, and that shows me positive traction. Remember what I said, that help can come in unexpected places. Don't be afraid to speak up or ask for help. Eight of Pentacles in reverse can be too many medications, too many things that are competing against each other. Take a look at your diet, work with a dietitian, work with your doctor. Make sure that you are not doing something that counteracts it. Even eating something like grapefruit can affect blood pressure medication and things of that nature. So standard disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, but I see a lot of things going into your body that could be, for some of you, causing some issues. Okay, I think that's everything for health. And the main thing that I want to take away from that, or that you could take away from that, is, do you feel comfortable? Do you feel at home? And if you don't, find a place where you do, because there is something out there waiting for you. All right, let's move on to wealth. It kind of is connected to what I was talking about with acceptance here. It says, I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. So accept yourself, and then accept that sometimes people don't want your change, want your advice. They don't want to change. Let's put it that way. And they may not want the change that you're doing. That was a slip, but it makes sense. So sometimes you change your attitude, you change your hair, you change your outfit, and people are like, I liked it better when you were fitting into this box. But if you're doing what you want to do and you're expressing your truth and your vision, that's you. A haircut shouldn't make a difference, right? So that's something interesting to look at. When we're looking more broadly speaking at where you work and how they see you, some people are just never happy. The Five of Swords can represent someone that no matter what you do or say, they'll always have a criticism. These two cards work together, 10 of Swords and 5 of Swords. This can be someone who always has something negative to say, and they don't lead with positive. They will say, you're 5 minutes late, or I talked about this before, you didn't do it. I don't like the font you chose, or whatever. They don't start with something good, which is, I can tell you put a lot of work into this. Walk me through your process. Okay, I have some questions about this, but I'm sure you have a reason. What's going on here? They just go straight in for the negative or the critical. And if that's the case, you're never going to be able to satisfy that person 100%. So ask yourself if you're cool with that, and you can just develop a thick skin. Some of us can. Some of us can't. We're sensitive. And if you can't, then think to yourself, then if I can't change them, if they're rigid, then I have to change where I'm at. And you definitely had cards showing moving up, moving on, moving out. So if someone else can't love, accept, and support you, then these cards are about expanding and moving beyond that. Okay? And this is the kind of energy. They're always going to have a little dig, a little bit of a negative twist on something. And there comes a point where enough is enough, right? And you just think to yourself, that's the final straw. So if you've been through that, then this is just acknowledging that. Don't burn the candle at both ends, even though we saw her doing that. This is a demigoddess. You are human. Take care of yourself. It's enough. I'm telling you. If you give 100%, it's enough. You don't have to give 105, 110, 120. It's a burnout track. And so your all is your all, and then 100% is 100%. In this period of time, that has to be enough. Sometimes we can push, but right now I don't think you can with this card. It's going to be exhaustion. Give 90% if you need to. That's still an A. Don't burn out. Pace yourself. I see good stuff for some of you. This can be a contract. This can be publication. This can be positive press. So in the wake of this criticism and this no win comes a big positive A+ and great recognition. This is the best way to get even. And at that same place that I was talking about, I had another coworker that was so happy for me when I said I was leaving. She said, don't get even, just have a really successful life. That's how you get even. Be happy, be successful, and this person's going to regret letting you go. And well, I left on my own volition, but that's basically what she was getting at. So letting you slip away. So that's the best thing. And what we see here is you have the capacity to do just that. Someone here only sees the negative. You see the positive. You see the potential. You'll lift yourself up and lift yourself out of that. You could get a new job. You could get a raise. It's probably somewhere else for those of you that are feeling stagnation. And that's probably a good thing. We already talked about not overthinking things. I do like where your wealth and your money is headed. It does feel like you have more than enough, or you're going to have more than enough as we look at the month ahead, and you'll have a chance to invest in self or invest in other projects. Really pay attention to the person that's right beside you at work or in business or in partnership. And Five of Swords isn't ideal. So if that energy exists there, that needs to be course corrected. If it's something further in the periphery, again, you'll decide if you want to fight that fight. Overall, though, good energy when we're looking at business and money. You also you don't owe anyone an explanation for your own choices at the end of the day, especially when you're an adult. You get to sort of choose what's right for you. All right, let's move on to relationships. Another Earth card here, we have Gaia's Garden, and it says fruition, abundance, reaping what you sow. Amen to that. And this is how you get even. And this would be the Queen of Pentacles as well, or the Empress energy. And we even get, it's very Queen of Pentacles, because we have the bunny rabbit right there in the corner, which I showed you in the earliest card there. But we also have harvest energy with the pumpkin. So we're looking at a lot of things that are taking us to this time next year, because if we count 10 to 12 months, that is going to be October, November, December. It's going to be the final quarter. So when I look at the Q4 card for at the very end for the next year, let's take a look at it. But I have to say, I like what's going on in your life. It looks like there's a lot of growth and development. Reaping what you sow. If you work on yourself, then you're going to call in a really good type of relationship. If you keep working on yourself and your partner isn't, you may feel the tension building up because you're energetically in different places. Keep focusing on you, okay? That's what this is really showing here. And we do see the fruition and the abundance, things coming into fruition, more and better relationships coming forth, which we also saw here. All right, we're going to break this down into 3 main categories. If you're in a relationship, if you're seeking out a relationship, or if you're single and happy. All right, looking at those of you in a relationship. Well, let's start with those of you that are going through a challenge, because that's presenting itself. Some of you, the 10 of Swords could represent a health incident. So like I went through a fracture or a break. It can represent something significant like COVID or long COVID. It could be another type of illness, recovering from cancer, or again, having some issues with chronic pain or fatigue. The good news for you is we're actually looking at a positive card here on the rebound. So I do see something good coming out of something not so good. And the main thing for you in this relationship is to lean on each other. And you can't do this all on your own if you're going through this. Same thing for your partner. So if your partner is going through a difficult time, you just basically say, I'm here for you. This doesn't have to be arguing. It can just be pain, fatigue, illness, or something environmentally that has basically done a number on one or both of you. All good relationships can benefit from time and space. So for some of you, you may need to just take a day, take a trip, spend some time with your same gendered energies. So like girls' night out, guys' night out, something like that, to just kind of hang out so that your partner and you have a little bit of space. You can be in the same house and have your own sort of spaces as well. Whatever is necessary. So a little bit of space can do you good. There could be estrangement with these 2 cards next to each other. So for some of you, there was something said or done and it wasn't okay, and you need time and space before you decide what's next. In this, though, we kind of see the movement heading towards moving on, because this is a big deal. This is you taking the relationship seriously. But when we look at what's going on, I kind of see you heading towards a new beginning. And you'll be fine if that's the case. If everything's hunky-dory in the relationship, there's still something stressful going on. Take care of yourself, take care of your partner. If you're keen on success, things look good. But even in that situation, what I see is keeping an open mind, because the Ace of Wands can be that sort of energy, like closed-mindedness. It's also, where's the passion? We don't have any cups, and the one card that represents passion is reversed. So it looks like intimacy could be you guys are having weird timing with that, or you're not on the same page. So that's something that can be worked on. And when I say intimacy, it's not just sex. It's also sharing time with each other, hanging out, watching TV, reading the newspaper, reading a book, whatever. Lots of different things that you can do that constitute being intimate, but definitely sharing parts of your life. And so are you having those conversations? Do you feel close? That's the main thing that I think all partnered relationships can work on, is increasing intimacy, healing yourself and helping your partner heal themselves. And then maybe, if everything's great too, taking a trip. One thing to remember with trips is if you don't heal the problem, you just take it with you. It's that extra piece of baggage or luggage that you didn't intend to check in, but it comes with you anyway. So you have to have a conversation and heal this. A vacation, I'm sure many of you have seen this in your own family trips. it will bring out the best or the worst that's already there. So heal it before you do the trip, for sure. That's a message for many of you. On the bright side too, I see one or both partners focusing on personal growth and maybe going back to school or development. So we see a lot of growth. We see a lot of movement. The main thing that we want to avoid is conversations that are pointed, walking away from those conversations. These are all communication cards, even the Six of Swords. Walking away or non-communication or distance is a form of communication. So this is something that hasn't been working either in the extended family or in that relationship. And so getting the distance, then coming back and avoiding even the Five of Swords is saying, it doesn't have to be you're right and I'm wrong. We're elevating this a little bit. So communication and intimacy at the end of the day are the things to focus on in existing relationships. All right, so that's the main message there. Can it work? Yes. Do you have to put in the work? Yes. This is legitimately going to school and working. This can be therapy too. Again, if everything's well, it could just be something environmental, but you still have to talk and work through that. For those of you looking for love right now, everything I just said can also just be you too. So if you're exhausted or sick or need to take care of yourself, do that before you go into a relationship. If you've been dealing with a lot of people in your life that have been getting under your skin, you want to heal those and move past that. Cut those ties, cut those cords first so that you're entering into the relationship unencumbered without the baggage. The partner that you're calling in is possibly very different from you. Different is good because it can bring in a complementary, a sort of like a blending energy that you didn't expect, but it could also confound you because you're like, that's not my type normally. That's not what I'm normally looking for. But they're coming in loud and strong and saying, yeah, but this is what the universe is bringing forth. Possibly an air sign for some of you. The thing that I said about attraction really holds true here. And we're not talking about intimacy here. We're talking about do you feel the spark? This is the spark and you feel it or you don't. Speak the truth if you don't. Just say, I feel a friend vibe, but I'm not feeling anything more. And if someone else says they're not interested, don't take it personally. We actually can't control the chemistry. At the end of the day, you either feel it or you don't. And then there's something better waiting for you when you don't feel it. But I do see the ability to pull in a really big love interest, great communication skills, even if they're not an air sign. Here's the one thing I want you to think about. There is some karma with this. It's a karmic relationship. The karma here is you having confidence and believing in yourself. And there's a little bit of work. They're going to teach you this if you don't already kind of like accept and know this. So really work on self-confidence and self-worth. That's what these two cards are about. Not seeing things as fatalistic or, binary win or lose. And if you do that, then the person that comes in is just going to be a great partner. Otherwise, they have a little lesson to teach you first. And we're looking for love interests, not necessarily teachers. Okay, for those of you single and happy, well, it feels like you've already done some of this work because it's in the recent past. It feels like a trip could really be advantageous because we see money cards very close in proximity to all the travel cards. Some of you are getting ready to share something big. It could be a business announcement, some sort of a wedding announcement, because this can be getting married. By the way, for those of you that are single and looking or single and happy, this could still be a wedding or an announcement or a big gathering, not just the holiday ones, but something bigger than that. So I like all of that. That looks really good. Let me see if there's anything else that is coming through. Spend some time over the holidays thinking of like one thing that you can put your energy behind, because I do feel like as you step into 2023, particularly in January, this has a lot of sort of like potential. So once that spark is ignited, then the Ten of Pentacles, value and abundance and support comes in. And people really want to see and hear more from you. So even though you may not be in a relationship, people are very attracted to your energy. They very much want to see what you have to offer. So don't be afraid to express and share some of that as well. Let's move on to your Destiny card. So in Destiny, we have signs from heaven. This card would be connected to the Four of Swords because you need to sleep and rest to get those messages. Thank you, heaven, for sending me reminders of your presence. We see this at bedtime or sleepy time here. So I get a lot of my messages, not every day. Yesterday was dreams, today was meditation, but I still have to close my eyes and tune in to get it. So take some time, make some time to tune in. That's going to be really important for you. Also, this is just about subtlety. So signs from heaven. It's not always going to be, smacking you in the third eye, something that's obvious that you need to do. Sometimes we hear words or a phrase or even like a voice that sounds like someone that we used to know, that may be in spirit. So it could be a phrase that your grandmother used to say, or your uncle that's in heaven. And all of a sudden they say something, or you hear a voice or you see someone and they're reminding you, don't forget about this. Don't forget about you. Don't forget. So there's something that the universe is using. It can be a song, a billboard, a phrase, or a voice in the world around you. And it seems random to someone else, but for you, you're like, oh, yeah, I got to do that. You're right. Thank you. I hear you. I get those signs all the time from spirit. And so when you start to open up to that, then it becomes another way for you to get a GPS and positioning and advice for the future. All right, let's move on to the next portion. We're going to take a look at the big idea. Big idea is one card, which is basically like, what is it that we're missing? What is it that we can focus on to be even more effective in this period of time? Your big idea goes back to self-confidence, which I talked about earlier. So we have the Five of Pentacles card here. And so for many of you, what's going on right now, you could take this and triangulate it back to youth. This is usually an event that happens when we're younger, and it can represent an absence. So maybe there was a mother or father figure in your life, they didn't show up the way that they needed to show up. There could be a lack of abundance. Maybe there wasn't enough food, enough money, enough love, something where you felt like I need more to feel supported. It can also be something that a teacher or a friend said to you, and it sits in our energetic sort of like field, almost like a barnacle or a flea or a tick, and we need to get that extracted because it isn't true. It was one other person's projection that is now sort of landing in your energy and taking up more real estate than it needs to. You are worth more than you imagine. You have the capacity to grow. I love the stained glass window in this one because we actually see a tree growing. It's the beginning of the Seven of Pentacles, even though we're in the Five. Ultimately, that becomes the Seven of Pentacles or the Ten of Pentacles tree. It all has to start somewhere. Remember what this card said. Help appears in various ways. This is your catalyst. This is sanctuary. It can be thought of, this can be sort of like a house that's there to help you, a safe house. It can be a church, a mosque, a temple. But it could also just be someone with an open heart or an open door. When in the past, that door was shut by someone else. It's open. Remember what I said here, before you run away or feel like you're isolated, there's someone trying to catch up with you. There's someone that says, wait a second, don't run so fast. I had something else to say. So there's love and support. You just have to reach out and ask. You're at the beginnings of growth and discovery with this Five of Pentacles. And that inner child needs some love. Okay? So love yourself. I'll mention it because it's appropriate to the season, but since we're in December and it's usually on television in 15 different variations, one of the cool things that A Christmas Carol does, you don't have to worry about like the fact that it's called A Christmas Carol. It's about ghosts and it's about somebody looking at different phases of their life, past, present, and future. It's very tarot friendly and very paranormal and spirit friendly. He has to go back and look at young Ebenezer. He looks at what happened. He was a normal kid at some point, but his dad sent him to this school and he wasn't supported. He wasn't loved. He had love in the form of his sister. He later turned his back on his sister. And he had to be reminded of how he was hardened as an individual. It's not all about money. It's not all about success. And sometimes there are people around you. Look at the inner child. See what it has to teach you. You don't have to have a visitation from a spirit to know where that comes from in the past, like what that incident was. But you can choose to love and accept and kind of wrap your arms around that child and say, we did the best we could. It may not have been great, but it was the best you could at that time. You can do better as an adult, and you don't need the people around you that weren't there. That's actually the lesson that they taught you. You were strong enough to survive. You wouldn't be here if you weren't strong already, okay? We went kind of deep on that card, but that's really what this is about. Let's focus next on blessings and blocks, things that can help you, things that could potentially block you. We already got one potential block, which is the Five of Swords, but let's just see what else is coming through. Your blessing card is the Queen of Cups. We love that. And your block is the Knight of Wands. So let's look at these. They're both very positive cards, but I'll do my best to help you with them. All right, so the Queen of Cups coming through for your blessing. Your heart's open. You're ready to love. Someone may be ready to love you. Again, it could be in a surprising package. So the person may show up with a different background, with a different physicality than you expected, but there's a lot of love to come through. This could just be disbelief of acceptance. So let's say you get a job offer. Let's say that your dream comes true and it's a little bit bigger and better than you thought. She's kind of shy in this card. She's looking at this thinking, oh my gosh, is this happening? She's reflecting and being present in this moment. It's okay to have that little bit of disbelief, but then accept it. That cup is in her lap and she's ready for that to overflow. There's more where that came from, okay? So this is a season and a time for self-love, self-acceptance, for good news to come in and more good news to follow. That's sort of where you want to fix your mind and fix your sort of like vision. The block. You could be moving so quickly that you miss something. We actually see the leaves being torn off this tree and they're not even the fall color leaves. So don't move so fast. Also, sometimes your mind is going a mile a minute, because to me, Knight of Wands is fast moving mind, but it could also just be someone moving too fast. Be present, be deliberate, slow down just a little bit. You're gonna have plenty of time to get to the finish line. I mentioned speaking up first or taking action, but it's not just about rushing. That was more about expressing initial interest or disinterest or whatever it is that you need to say. But at the end of the day, we don't want to speed to the finish line. The journey is half the fun. So that would be the sort of message here when it comes to potential blocks. Being present, keeping an open mind, and not rushing through a process or an experience. Okay, we're going to go into something that I love, and this is the fun part with doing live readings like this. We can do a little bit of interactivity. We're going to do viewers and readers choices. So let's take a look at the cards in front of us. I'm going to get a poll started and you'll have a chance to vote on some of this stuff. So let me get it all set up here. Okay, so I'm going to take the hardest. I always do that because I have to make sure that that's viewed. So I'll look at the Ten of Swords. I never let the tough card get away from us. But we have another one here with the Five of Swords. So I'm going to give you an option to vote on how to deal with, I'm going to put it in quotes because I don't really think it's no-win, but I'll put like a no-win conversation. It's really how to navigate, but I can't put all those words. So how to deal with a no-win situation. Let's look at when to move on, when to move or move on, when to move or move on. What are the real opportunities for development and expansion? So expansion opportunities. I'm going to try to make this as difficult as I can by giving you awesome options. With the Ten of Pentacles, what is the message around this sort of like love and community? So incoming love / opportunity, because it can represent both. Serious love and opportunity at that too. Okay. You've got some choices, folks. While you're looking at all of those, I'm going to take a look at the Ten of Swords. What is it all about? What's the pain and how can you heal it? That's the question. Thank you to everybody giving back with stickers. I'll say thank you individually at the end. All right, so I'm clarifying Ten of Swords. What's the pain? How can you heal it? Oh, we got rabbits. So cool, so synchronistic. Okay. I don't know why I get excited when there's synchronicities, but I do. All right, so at the center of this, we have your totem. We have the rabbit, and we have a rabbit family with rabbit babies. So with all of these bunny rabbits here, what this is showing me is there may have been a lack of support, a lack of friendship, a lack of people showing up the way you wanted to. And you think to yourself, is there something wrong with me? Have I failed? Why can't I do this? The power of the Four of Wands is holding space, holding hope and faith. Oftentimes you'll only see the wands. Let's see if I can do this. So oftentimes the card will appear just like this, the Four Wands with nothing in it. The promise of the Four of Wands is that you pull in friends, family, opportunity, which is what the rabbit represents. It's not just love. It's not just a baby. It's not just an opportunity. It's all of these things in various times, because we got 1 to 2 years for some of this. But it's coming, folks. So you have to hold hope. There's nothing wrong with you. You're attracting the right person and the right opportunity. It takes time. Don't beat yourself up. That's basically what I'm getting from the Ten of Swords when I clarify it, is don't beat yourself up. Hold firm to your dreams, your hopes, and keep working on yourself, and hold those Four Wands around you, and you know that something better will come in. That's a beautiful message. And I really love that we got our totem here. That was synchronistic and pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at what you've chosen for me to look at. And let's see how many people have voted, if I can see. There's only 40 votes. There's about 260 people watching. So vote if you can. Click on the choice right now. But otherwise, I'm going to close the poll. We have a pretty good winner here, incoming love and opportunity. So by 43%, that was the choice. I'm going to start to shuffle the cards, and let's see what's coming through. All right, so what is the message around incoming love or opportunities? So we're looking now at the Ten of Pentacles, and we're going to clarify it. Very cool. You're getting some, I mean, it's a new year, so I want these to be good cards too for you, but I can't control what Spirit wants to bring through. But we have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is recognition. And it's recognition for a job well done. So first things first, we're going to look at it from the opportunity side, and then we'll look at it from the love side. So when it comes to opportunity, what I like about this is she's not trying to make everyone happy. When we look at the main person, this is almost like the scales of justice. And she's basically saying, I've weighed out this opportunity. This is what I stand for. This is who I am. Take me or leave me. There's a song in Rent where it's like that, kind of take me or leave me. And that's, you can't change who you are, and you can't change what you're bringing out to the universe. Put your all into something, 100%. And the best that you have is the best. You can go to sleep at night. You can leave this planet at the end of your days, and you think to yourself, I did that. Maybe they didn't like it. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they loved it. Who cares? On a heart and soul level, I accomplished exactly what I set out to accomplish here. Love yourself, complete your task, complete whatever it is that you're working on with that same sense of unconditional love. And that's it. That's simply the best that you can do. Pulling in a Tina Turner song. Or all kinds of music today coming into my head. When it comes to love and opportunity, when you are in that sense of joy and completeness, like I did it, I'm exactly where I want to be, and I feel complete. I don't need your validation, because that's part of the Three of Pentacles. So when it comes to love, don't seek validation. Simply seek to do the best and be the best. Someone will naturally validate you, but if you have to pull the validation out of them, not worth it. And that's your litmus test when we're looking at relationships. If you have to say, isn't that right? Or don't you feel that way too, right? You're pushing too much. It's either there or it isn't, and they either see it or they don't. And if you have to keep pushing, pulling, and getting that validation where it doesn't exist, then it's time to look elsewhere. But the good news here is you can pretty much get what you're looking for with the Three of Pentacles. It's one of the best cards that you can get in the Minor Arcana. It's completion. It's mastery. You actually got both of the cards here. This is apprenticeship, and this is mastery. So you're going to get what you want, and you're going to basically be able to finally accomplish a big goal, and couldn't ask for something better than that. That was nice. Thanks, guys. Good choice. All right, we're going to move on to sun, rising, and moon signs. I get these questions all the time, but yeah, you can use it for sun, rising, moon, Venus. You can look at it for Chiron. You can look at it for any aspect of your chart, but we're going to drill into sun, rising, and moon in particular. So let's go ahead and see what the messages are in respect to those, and then we're going to look at the 4 quarters of 2023. Okay, so sun, rising, Moon, you've got good stuff coming through. January is looking great for this sign anyway. Each and every sign has their own challenges and opportunities, but most of your tricky stuff is in the past. Most of your good stuff is in the future. I like it. All right. So we'll begin first with those under sun sign. So the Magician, beginnings, power. The card is upright. We like that. Not only does he have all of the 4 elements around him, he also has this wonderful spark that we've seen, that candle that's coming through time and again in this particular tarot deck. So your ability to take something and put your own spark, your own thumbprint on it is what's amazing. And also, I always read this in relationships as the spark, as the chemistry. So if you meet someone new, doesn't matter if they're your type or not. If you have the spark, that's what matters. And you can't fake that. So that's going to be the easiest thing to identify for all Leo sun. You're going to really be able to connect to, I feel it. I want that. Definitely. This is it. Focus, but the card is upright, so I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be focused. But focused intention is what makes the Magician strongest. Don't try to be everything to everyone. It's also about taking that heaven sent or ethereal idea and grounding it as above, so below. You are the channel. You breathe life into it, just like the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I like it. I think you can make it happen, but you have to, finally and most importantly, you have to believe in yourself. Magic works if you and the other person believe. If you don't believe, it's not going to happen, or it's not going to happen as effectively. So that would be my final note for sun sign messages here, is that it looks like it's a really good month ahead and a good beginning to the new year for you. Okay? Trust how you feel. Know that you can put your mind and energy in almost anything. Choose the thing that calls you the most. That would be the other thing that I would say with the Magician. Okay, moving from sun to rising. We have the Two of Wands. I mean, I really like this too, because this is a cousin card to the High Priestess. So this is you getting out that map, getting out that blueprint and saying, I know what I want to do. And that set of, or that sense of what is coming is actually, ironically, it's chicken and the egg. It's what calls it in. So this is the crystal ball, and then the High Priestess is going to come up right behind you and say, let's do this. So you have that same power. The other thing with the Two of Wands is you can actually convey it easier to others because you've already done the work to lay it out. So this is a really good period of time for you to share your ideas. Put it on a whiteboard or blackboard, put it in a document, put it in a presentation, have a casual conversation, because people will say, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do this. All you have to do is see it and feel it. Very similar energies with both of these. This is working your magic, and this is believing in your vision, okay? Very similar. With the Two of Wands, let's put it this way. You may not see an immediate return on something in January, but I think February will be the Three of Wands moment for you, so very quick. So all the work that you're putting in right now is calling in the Three of Wands. And then we talked about that next one, the Four of Wands. So not only are you going to see manifestation, but you'll probably find a partner coming in too. Business partner, friend, love, interest, etc. So you're looking at a rapid, positive movement in the first 3 months of the year in a very positive way. Okay? We like it. It's also good for Moon. We have the Hierophant card. Now this one's a little bit more traditional. The Hierophant is saying, get organized. Get your stuff together. You are the gatekeeper. You're the boss. You're the organizational force. You may also need to work with a gatekeeper, and sometimes we can't avoid that. If you're going to buy a house, you have to get a loan. You have to work through, a lot of times you'll have to work through a bank or a lender. If you're going through college, you get grades. The teachers have to give you grades. You have to work with the Office of Admissions. There's like all these levels. In a hospital, same thing. There's an admissions person. There's layers that we have to go through. To register your vehicle, you have to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles in the United States, and that's one of the least enjoyable things to deal with, because talk about bureaucracy and old technology. The DMV is all of that, and then unhappy people. But here's the thing. Diligence, persistence, and following the rules actually will help you out. So know where to follow the rules, and know where you get to kind of put a line in the sand and say, this is my own way. Ultimately, the Hierophant is saying in the future, when it comes to business in particular, and then just your own decision-making process, it's so much easier for those of you that are Leo moon to be the boss rather than to be bossed around. And so if you can find opportunities in your life where you can actually be the boss, that's basically what we're looking at here. Okay. Let me see if that's anything else, if there's anything else. Oh, this is so important, and it's only coming through on this particular card. The folks in the audience have questions. So typically you would see two disciples listening to every word. They're talking, they're asking, they're raising their hands. There's someone that is interested and has something to add, say, or revise. So remembering the bunny ears that go, was it 120 degrees or whatever? The ability for you to tune in and say, oh, did you have a question? Oh, it looks like you might have something to add. Make sure that you're aware of things like that, because that could help you. If you're only pontificating, and this is a pontiff, then you're not listening. And one of the tools today was listening. So that's the only thing that could get moon sign in trouble is pontification. But as long as you are listening actively, you're going to be okay. By and large, though, all three of these are great. Again, for sun, the ability to make almost anything happen. For rising, great visionary skills right now. And for moon, boss energy, being organized, and also eventually being able to create your own structures. We like all of those. All right, we're doing something special right now. I'm going to take a look at 4 quarters of the new year. So let's go ahead and pull the cards down and see what's in store. Again, I'm going to be doing a very special forecast on New Year's Eve as well as New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, I think, is where I'll do the 12 months. So if you want more granular, not like 3-month clumps, you can tune into that one. Okay, let's give this another shuffle and see what the message is. All right, so Q1, 6 of Wands. Q2, the Emperor. God, you've got a good year ahead. Q3, massive change, but it looks like it's positive based on what we see. Q4, this is the only challenge for you. I may clarify it when we get to it, but let's go ahead and work our way through the cards first. Okay. I like the way the year kicks off, and I'm not surprised that in January, February, and March, that's the first quarter, that you have the 6 of Wands. Let me take a drink here. 6 of Wands is overdue success for some of you and just basically reaping what you're sowing. We even got that card here when I was looking at relationships. Personal relationships, business relationships, all coming through, and you're getting a reward for a job well done, Q1. So this is the best time of the year to have important conversations. If you need to, we were talking about things like buying a house, getting a loan, if there's any legal matters that require your attention, if there's anyone in your life that you need to talk to about something, this sort of energy is going to be very supportive of that. So I really like your ability to see and be seen, to get the word out, to spread positive energy. All of this is supported with 6 of Wands. And at its core, if I were to caption it, it would be success. So success is yours to either embrace or miss. So embrace it, okay? So we like that. Looking now at April, May, and June, the second quarter of the year, still in the first half. You're sitting pretty here. It's a little less active. The Emperor is sitting still, but he's starting to really enjoy what he's created over the first part of the year, and even right now as we're reading this particular energy. I do like that he has his hand firmly on the earth, because we were talking, I mean, we've seen it a lot here. We have this World card, which seems like it has a King of Pentacles in it. We have this Love card here, which is Gaia's Garden, which is like the Queen of Pentacles. You actually got the Knight of Pentacles in the deep past. And then we also got 3 and 8 of Pentacles coming through. Lots of earthy energy. So the key to success is to stay real, to be real, to stay grounded, and to really sort of hold your ground. We also see him with the Ankh. Don't be afraid to be powerful. And he's standing at the gate. I mentioned that those of you, particularly moon sign, you are the gatekeeper. But everybody under the sign of Leo, you have the ability to create a portal, an opening. And the first part of the year, we couldn't ask for 2 better cards. Success and being able to maintain and build upon that success. I read transformation as a positive card. So especially when we're looking at an annual forecast. So now we're going to look at July, August, and September, and we have the Death card, change. it's unavoidable, folks, and it's probably something that you've seen a long time coming. So let's look at death in its highest possible energy. Death is transformation and change, like a butterfly, like a chrysalis, like transformation. It's coming out of something as something different. Nobody is immune to that energy of change. Death, as personified by the angel of death, and also is personified by all the different walks of life here. You'll have a person of faith, you have a king, you have a child, you have an older person. Every walk of life walks that path at one point, sometimes earlier than later. But when we look at it as an element of change, it's good because you can read it differently. It means that you're never too young, certainly never too young to make a change. You're never too old either. And success and change and transformation can also happen at all of those points of life. There could also be something significant as we're looking at July, August, and September, where your choice changes your path completely. An old version of you fades away. A new version of you steps into that moment. So this is the aha. This is the sort of like the Big Bang moment where if it was a universe and it was getting started, this is where the explosion happens. So based on the first two cards, success, power, and change, we can actually infer that this is some good movement in your life. There could also be a significant loss for some of you. There could be a loss of someone you love. There could be a change of jobs. There could be something like that. But you've been built up so much over the first 2 quarters of the year that you're going to be able to handle the change. Now, as we look at October, November, and December, the only thing that could lead to challenge for you is the emperor can sometimes become the devil by being complacent. We see this devil smoking a cigarette, not being bothered, just kind of relaxing too much. So in the final quarter of the year, action is going to be something that you want to pay attention to. This can be a control card. There could be someone in your life that doesn't want to allow you to grow. You could be having a hard time letting go of someone else. So to thwart the devil energy, you simply love unconditionally. You allow something to leave your life if it needs to, because it's on the heels of death. So this is the change that's necessary. If you don't allow the change to come in, then other things happen, and then we don't want that. This can just be Capricorn energy as well. But ultimately, the devil is saying, I need to make changes before this period of time. Because this is pivotal, I'm going to pull a clarifying card on that for the devil here to see how we can help you either react to or avoid altogether. I'm not worried about the death card. That's change and transformation, but the devil we want to look at. It's a choice, folks. So the Two of Pentacles clarifying the devil for the 4th quarter of the year is saying you can't have everything. You have to choose one thing, and that choice will bring you the balance and the fulfillment that you need. And again, I do feel like it's holding on to something that's already served its highest good. So this could be a relationship, a job, or a habit in your life. You got everything that you needed out of it in Q1 and Q2. Q3, you get your wake-up call, and it's like, all right, I need to make the change. You either make it or it gets made for you. You lose control in that sort of energy. But you can still, I would say, even in that first in October, that's really when you decide, am I in or am I out? Okay? So overall, good energy. Tripping point of 2023 is trying to hold on to something that's already gone. The tripping point is releasing an old thing and just sort of surrendering to change. Because sometimes change is scary, folks, right? But it's necessary. It's the only constant in this universe, right? If we look at the planet, it has not looked the same. There's been different life forms that have come and gone. The dinosaurs, the trilobites, all this stuff, it's gone now, but it was here for a while. The earth changed. It was Pangea. Now it's separated. It'll come back together again. That's just the nature of life on this planet. Things don't stay the same. And so are you going to move with the change, or are you going to try to dig your feet in the sand and say, no, I'm staying here, because the world will continue to move in a different direction? So all you have to do is leverage the positive energy in the first 2 cards, really move with what wants to come through in the first quarter. Don't lose track of grounding energy here. Be the agent of change, and then make a smart choice and let go of something that doesn't serve you anymore. And that's your high-level overview for 2023. Tune in on New Year's Eve and we'll go a lot deeper, okay? Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know I did. It's fun to see each sign. You got so many positive cards today that I'm surprised we only got. We did get the Ten of Swords showing up in the past, and we got the Devil. But honestly, that's not bad. You've got a lot of really good energy going in your favor. So focus on that and continue to make it an amazing year ahead. All right, let's talk about where we're at and where we're headed here. We've moved through every major part of this reading today. We're going to go into meditation mode in just a minute. But before I do that, I always read a final card at the very end. What is the final card, you might ask? It's a chance for you to just ask a silent question, to meditate on something. Should I do this? Is this incoming? What do I need to know about this? And then I'll read a single card to give a general piece of advice for everybody's question, okay? Looking at all the cards in front of us, I know I don't have I need to manifest in the future, I'll try to get a bigger table since I'm moving. Let's see, I really love the success cards and the opening up. I love the metamorphosis. I think your really big opportunity as we kind of look at the year ahead is easing into change. So we're going to work with the energy of a butterfly or a moth, whichever you like. They're both powerful and they're both beautiful. The main difference between the two is a moth creates a cocoon and a butterfly puts a chrysalis like on a branch, okay? So whatever feels better for you, you can work with that. Let's open ourselves up to change by feeling safe first, by allowing the change to happen within, and then by moving into growth, and then I'll look at your final question. All right, close your eyes if you will. Take a deep breath. Stretch for a moment, letting go of anything that you've been holding on to up until now. Move your shoulders up and down. If you want to, you can move your neck back and forth a little bit. Just opening up and letting go and allowing yourself to be present. At this point, I'd love for you to see yourself at the dawn of a new day. Imagine that there's a beautiful, lush forest where you can see the fresh drops of dew lining up all of the blades of grass. And as you look out at them, it looks like you're in a sea of beautiful golden diamonds or citrine. Just as far as the eye can see, the grass is sparkling, the trees are sparkling, and basically the forest is coming to life. You can hear the sounds of birds in the distance, the wind as it gently blows through the leaves, the gentle drops of water as they now land on the blades of grass. And you take a deep breath and you think to yourself, I'm ready to step into the new year, refreshed, renewed, and invigorated. Allow yourself to lean against one of the trees nearest to you. And as you look up at the branches, it's one of the oldest trees in the forest. The light is streaming through it so you can see beautiful rays of golden sunshine filtering through some of the green leaves. And you can also just get this sense of support. It's here that you can create your cocoon or your chrysalis. Imagine that as you close your eyes, you can wrap yourself in, I'm going to work with the color of the sun, at least as perceived from this planet, so golden light. So there's this golden blanket of light that you're wrapping around your body, and it feels warm to the touch, it feels safe, and if you've ever had the pleasure of connecting with an archangel or an angel, you know what I'm talking about. There's this sense of unconditional love and safety. Imagine that solar energy coming from the sun has that same sense of safety. And just breathe it in and think to yourself, I'm okay. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'm okay. I'm okay with my journey so far. I'm good with where I'm at, and I can't wait to see what's next. Think to yourself, not only am I okay, but I'm fantastic. And I'm ready for my dreams, for my own energy to take flight. So as you start to think that not only are you okay, but you're amazing, and you're ready to liberate yourself from limits, from old cycles and things of that nature, you start to feel this sense of almost like you're lifted up. You don't have to actually physically see wings, but you could just imagine that this beautiful golden energy now, you're able to move with it. It's pliable. You could move the blanket out and you could sort of energy, and you could see that it's creating almost what looks like wings. They've been there all along. And think to yourself, the next moment in my life, it's going to not be so difficult. It's going to be smooth sailing. And just sit there with that. You can, if you'd like to, you can imagine that you take flight. You could just feel the support and the lightness of being and just bask in the joy of the sunlight. or you could focus on what it is that you're trying to create. Each of you take your meditation where you'd like. I'm going to play the singing bowl for a moment so you can allow for that inner strength to continue to grow, and then we'll read your final card. Take a few deep breaths. Allow yourself to come back down to earth, feeling your feet firmly planted on the ground in front of you, bringing that energy back into your heart and thinking to yourself, I am ready. You're ready to see what's in store. All right, folks, focus now on the final card. If you haven't already done so, I'd love for you to open your eyes, please. And let me just make some room because I'm running out of space here. I'd like you to focus on that final question that you have for me. Let's pull a card and see what the universe has in store. 3 of Cups is quite good, actually. So for a yes-no question, this would be a yes. The 3 of Cups is in reverse, the reverse state, I should say. So the interesting thing with this is sometimes we're not ready to just have fun or accept the positive. It's so easy to be in that state of disbelief, or the inner saboteur comes out and says, this isn't real. This is real. This is going to be a good moment for you. That's what I'm picking up on. So as a yes, no, this is a yes, but if and only if you believe it. There's a lot of pumpkins that keep coming through in different cards on this reading. If you've noticed, it's come up a few times. We've got the pumpkins there, we've got the pumpkins there. And I think it was in another card that I've already stacked up. But with that, I would say the important thing for you is also to look at, it's almost taking you out to next October. There's a lot of movement. And that makes sense because when I was looking at your quarterly cards, the change moment really happens in that period of time. If you're ready, if you're in or if you're out, because the 2 of Pentacles, when I was clarifying the devil, is are you in, are you out? So there's some really cool stuff that's going to take you through to that period of time. What you want to avoid right now is gossip. What you want to avoid is excess. It's kind of interesting because we have a lot of parties that are coming up here over the next, the month of December, from holiday parties to New Year's gatherings to things of that nature, to just getting together with family. So yeah, avoid spilling the tea to people that you don't trust, because we could see that as spilling the tea. It's going to get back to the person that you're talking about whenever the 3 of Cups is in reverse. Be as inclusive, be as welcoming as you can as well. You've always been the new person everybody's been at some point the new kid or the new person on the block. If you haven't, you're lucky. It's an interesting sort of energy, and it's an outsider energy. So try to embrace people with open arms. There could be new love coming into your life unexpectedly. For those of you in a relationship, don't worry so much about what others think. If there's a third party coming in, don't give it too much energy. A lot of different things that I can read with the 3 of Cups, but most of them are positive. Usually the things that get in the way, you can avoid. It's common sense with that. All right. This was an amazing reading. It was a good energy for the room too. So thank you so much for making it fun for me to read. I never know how it's going to be until I show up. Thanks to all of the returning members, all of the channel members too. I see we've got some new ones and some returning ones. And if you liked what you saw here, do me a favor, like I said, like, subscribe, share it, follow me on social media. And I'm going to give you a moment here I want to say thanks to all of the newest folks here. So I'm going to recognize channel members first, and then we're going to move to the Super Stickers and Super Chat, and then just a couple of scheduling notes before I sign off for today. To the newest members here, Chloe Paranormal, thank you for being a star member. That's amazing. And I think you just joined right now because I saw it pop up in chat. I appreciate that. There's already one video up. It's a new thing that I'm doing where I'm doing at least once a month. I'll be doing a specific one for members, so check that one out. I'll probably do one in a couple of weeks before the holidays as well. Let's see, Haas Marianne, thank you as well for being a new member. Good to have you here. And I think everybody else I mentioned yesterday. So to the folks that gave back today, just a couple of quick shout outs and then we'll wrap up. So kicking things off today, Sherry Wolf, good to see you again. Thank you. Chloe Paranormal, thank you so much for not only contributing, but also becoming a member. It means a lot. Lola, thank you as well. And Norma, thank you. And happy holidays to you as well. I appreciate that. Let me see if I missed anybody. I don't think I did. Let me just see if I missed any milestones because sometimes those pop up differently. I did not. Perfect. Okay. So to the newest folks, remember that I will be back on the weekend on Sunday for my weekly collective where I'll take a look at the 7 days ahead of us. I have a daily card every day. So even on days that I don't do a live, you still get that from me. And I do some periodic members only and also impromptu reads. So more where that came from. On Monday, we'll see where I'm at, but I think I'm going to take the day off to pack because I'm moving on Tuesday. My internet gets set up on Wednesday, so I'll probably be back Thursday. Wednesday night, if the internet's working and I have my desk set up and everything, maybe I'll do an impromptu. But otherwise, Sunday and then Thursday of next week. And in between, I'll do some one-card reads or some shorter videos just to say hi while I'm moving. So thank you so much for being supportive. It's been a long year, hasn't it, folks? And for me, I've gone through a lot this year from, losing a loved one to a couple of unfortunate moves. So I'm looking forward to getting settled. Thanks for your love and support. Lots of love from Apollo and I. I'll see you again on the weekend. And if you are a member, remember that you can vote twice. I'll be putting up the poll tomorrow morning. All right? Take care of yourself. Lots of love and light. Have a great day, a great month, and a great year. I just appreciate all of you. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.